Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for another round of Season 5 Ocarina of Time Randomizer Tournament. Today we have Winners Bracket Round 3, Riley versus Goomba. Joining me on comms, well, I'm not commentating, but they will be, is Sean and Yoshi. Being amazing and tracking for us today is DFX9 and Mighty Mouse. And last but not least, I was the evil one that rolled the C today, so take it away, commentators.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
I mean, I do this every time, I swear. I mean, we always talk at the same time. But yes, Goomba Riley, the Alpha Gamers. I'm looking forward
this is
to
a
this.
co-op showdown. Both very similar runners in terms of playstyle, in terms of like strengths and weaknesses, I think. The winner of this one, there might be spoilers in this for people who haven't caught up on the bracket, but I'm just going to say the winner of this one will go on to play Marco in the winner's bracket, and the loser will drop down to face Cola in losers. So both sides have pretty tough matchups to face going forwards, but obviously, if you're going to face a tough matchup either way, you'd rather be on the winner's side for it, so it's definitely a lot at stake here.
No pressure or anything, no, not at all. Look at that screen. I didn't realise they had faced each other last in January. Start of January was their last matchup. I think we pulled up the didn't look at this.
Mm-hmm.
I really like these stuff, by the way, they're great.
Goomba with the advantage in those as well. Apparently, just only 2-0, so it's a small sample, but does have that edge so far, and has the edge in terms of the seedings. So, on paper, Goomba would be favoured, but obviously, at this stage, everyone is kind of close enough that any advantage is going to be a minor one, and there's not really such a thing as an upset at this point, I don't think.
No, not with these two at least. Yeah, the point we got to now, anyone can win any match. I mean, that's always the case, right? Anyone can win any match, but if
it's definitely there's a point where it's like anyone can win, but it's definitely a surprise if an underdog wins a lot of the time. At this point, I think anyone winning, you're just like, yeah, okay, makes sense. Like, you can see it. I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna take a poke through the bracket, but like, at a quick glance, the only person left in winner's side, so there's one matchup of seeds where the like seeds lower than 40, by which I mean the number is higher. That's confusing terms, but whatever. Seeded lower than 40, there's one matchup, and otherwise it's all of them are like top 15. So yeah, it's definitely just like killers the whole way. There's no such thing as an easy matchup, no such thing as an upset at this point. And even obviously, even the people who are top 50 here, were below 40 here, have beaten people who are above that point.
Yeah, I mean, we only have to look at the top 64 to see there's a lot of people I wasn't expecting in there, and that just shows, honestly, how good the field's gotten. Well,
yeah, I think there's a big combination of people kind of getting an edge on figuring out different settings when that came in. Oh, and we are off at Death Mountain. That's terrible.
I've seen worse, but not many. My God, we have that big yet.
Yeah, both just getting out of there.
I mean, not a bad song to warm into, right? Sun song's always useful to have.
Quick Jabu Foolish.
I'll always take that. The less I have to be in Jabu, the better.
So I said earlier that these two, I think, have very similar playstyles. obviously everyone in the top 64 is incredibly good at what they're doing. Like, that goes without saying, they wouldn't be there otherwise. These two, in terms of like, again, top 15 here, their execution is a little weaker than some of the other people in that bubble, but they more than make up for it with just exceptional routing, like a wonderful read on the logic, and just all-around game knowledge makes up for the execution a lot of the times. And obviously that's not to say their execution is bad. They're not a Marco or what the hell's level in execution.
No, but I'll be honest, it's not the easiest thing to be at.
No, most people are not.
Oh, Mido, being stingy today, buddy. 4 swings, 4 misses. You still open them, of course. You're looking for stuff like tunes. At least I am. I'm not sure anyone else.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Until you get explosives, you want to dig around for them.
Goomba electing to... Oh, both are save quit.
Both save quit here. I assume to go down towards Cack, I was going to say, but...
Yeah, where are we going into What was it you're saying about them having similar playstyles?
I mean, yeah, no, it's lining up that way.
Pretty much. That might be one of the closest save resets to the actual place ever.
I'm a little surprised by that. Even on emulator, it has to be faster to do what Goomba did here, right?
Climb back up? I'm not sure it's going to be close.
You just void out in the lava and...
Walk through the door.
Yeah.
That would be faster.
We did the OoTR Serenade there, so they're not going to have to worry about that too much. With that said, we still don't know what those dungeons are, and I didn't see if that was a big or small chest in there, but
I just didn't get a chance to look at it properly. What the?
Oh. I don't know what happened with Goomba there, but yeah.
That was some weird movement.
But yeah, so obviously we don't know what the stone dungeons are. I think one of the big things with these settings is dungeons as a whole are kind of just mostly as good as each other, but obviously some have higher requirements still. So you're not going to worry about those stone dungeons until you get the items for them. They want to see the higher requirements now. Or well, I guess they don't both want to. Who has the edge in execution in this race?
I'm not sure.
Because whoever has the execution edge wants more to be required, generally.
Nor Scale. Did Scale even do anything this early? Until he go child?
I know, it might make... It would potentially have made going up River a little more tempting, except for the part where they started with Minuet, so they don't get the song out of the end of that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the main access, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, I think as child is where it's really going to excel, because then you can go over to Kakiri Forest, go up, get the Saria's check, then take that path through to the river and take the chicken back up towards Domain.
Yes, not much actually coming out of the early game, just a Scale. No anime music on Goomba's side, apparently. That's the first. Fairly standard stuff so far.
Yeah, a lot of the early game in these kinds of settings is just figuring out kind of what you can do with the items you're given. And right now the items you're given aren't a whole lot. There's obviously still a decent amount to go, but at this point you'd be looking towards, you know, like we were saying, the whole River Child Domain via Child Lost Woods. And then you have Epona's song to go over to Gerudo Training Grounds early, but like, do you want to do that for what, one check? Not really.
I mean, I've heard of worse ideas, but not many.
Yeah, it's like I feel like at this point they're both going to take very similar early routes. Just child towards potentially Valley Lake into Domain to then come out at River to get to Lost Woods. But yeah, it'll all be a question of what that offers and where that opens. Because right now they don't have a whole lot open.
We have to hope that something comes up. Yeah, River could be a potential idea? Question mark?
Yeah, on the one hand, I like the idea of going upriver when you're low on items, but on the other hand, starting with Minuet makes it way less valuable, because, yeah, they got the scale, but they already have the song from that. And it's so convenient to route in as child, whether you go to Kakiri Forest first through Lost Woods and then go to River into Domain, or whether you go Valley Lake into Domain into River. Either way, you're kind of taking the same route, and the question there becomes, do you want to do Valley Lake? Or Valley in particular. You'll do Lake either way at the start or end of those routes.
No, Goomba!
Anti Flames.
Goomba just casually getting rejected there. Sorry, no, Darnpay rejecting Goomba. Sad. That's gonna put, there's a little execution game where I needed. Clearly.
Yes. I mean,
Clearly,
we were saying earlier, similar playstyles, similar skill levels, all of that. Like, little edges are likely to add up at some point. Obviously, there'll come a point where generally the small differences like that won't matter. But if they do, like, if you follow a similar route the entire way, you're looking back at the end going, like, where did I lose time? And that's one that you will remember. That was 20, 30 seconds just gone.
Still a nice casual 50 on the return, which would be nice if you hadn't pointed out 2/3 of the way through. Right, let's see where Riley goes here.
I can only assume child.
It's looking like child.
With that scale in particular, like, child river just becomes so much more valuable than adult. You can get all the same checks, but if you pick up storms from either Lon Lon or Sarias, doing it through that route lets you get frogs on the way through as well, and then also it just routes really neatly into Domain and Lost Woods and all of those areas around them.
We're going to see some more hints. Hammerchest is dead. Zelda's Lullaby at Requiem. Also,
So we did
nice
have
Fortress to
rid of
Baronade.
Fortress to Baronade, yeah. So that Epona's already looking kind of useful. Shadow Deku Jabu Water DC. So in terms of high requirement dungeons, Spirits of Stone. But outside of that, I don't know, a little shaky on that one. You don't want to see a stone forest generally, because you're always getting the requirements for it.
Yeah. I'm very happy we haven't got Requiem on OOT, by the way, after seeing where ZL was. ZL Beyond the Wasteland. Which also means it can't be an ice cavern. Rush Ice fans in hysterics right now. So look at what we've got so far. It's going to be child into Lon Lon Ranch, because you don't skip Lon Lon Ranch.
Yeah, I think the big potential diversion here would be...
Oh!
God, really? I think the big potential divergence here would be where do you go after Lon Lon? Do you save quit or do you leave to do Valley Lake? I would expect, knowing the way these two play, both of them are more likely to save quit. But I could honestly see either of them doing either.
Yeah, I don't know. That gold scale did give us at least one more check.
Yeah.
So Violet becomes that little bit more tempting. Also,
I
Goomba
think-
buying the shield.
Makes sense. You're going to pick up some rupees on the way through all of this. Just get that value now. I think with what Sponge is saying here. I think save quitting has more value because you have Minuet. You can do... If you do Valley Lake, you go through Domain to River and then into Lost Woods from there. If you do it the other way around, if you decide that you're going to save quit, you can play Minuet, do Lost Woods, then go diving through to River, go take the chicken into Domain, and get to Lake from there. You skip Valley, but it's so much more efficient, and you find out what your save quit location is.
True. That is important for these settings because of the random spawns. You want to know that your save quit's somewhere nice. Or somewhere bad.
Right, if you see the other side of the Garuda Valley Bridge, for example, that's huge. That is so much information already. Maybe a little less so with Epona, but you know.
Oh yeah.
If you get something... Like, for all you know, you could save quit into Domain and just save yourself a whole ton of time routing all around everything there. If you save quit to the top of Valley, you just do Valley Lake. There's so many ways that you can kind of work around that one, but... We did actually get the divergence and storms as well, so that makes the river a little more valuable there. But we did get that divergence a little earlier, Goomba taking the time of day to check Richard here, where Riley didn't.
I'm surprised, honestly. Of the two, I'd have thought it'd be Riley checking Richard the dog.
Like, it's weird. I get it here, and also... Like, I get skipping it, but also getting it later is going to feel really bad if you pick up Prelude, because getting through the mark... Oh, it's a stone. That's a stone dungeon. That's a stone.
Goomba feeling a little worse about buying that shield now, I think.
Mirror Shield is 3 checks, and, like, yeah, I don't know. That doesn't mean a whole lot at this point.
Did Riley save quit? Did we see that, or did we just play
I think
Minuet?
so. I think just played Minuet.
Which gave us Bolero, which is interesting. It's definitely the word I want to use for that one.
Bolero's nice, at least. Changes into another song already. Offers a check, even if it's not a very valuable check.
I mean, it's something, right? And now we're Child Lost Woods. Storms does give us an extra check here as well.
This is, yeah, the song options here are actually really good, because you can play Storms, go down, pick up the Kakiri Sword chest, and then just Sun Song back up. Like, this selection of songs has been perfect for this early routing.
It has. And 30 skulls is dead. Well, as I say every time, the 30 skulls are actually alive today. Yeah, Sun Song makes Richard the Dog at least a little easier to get.
Yeah, the issue with it would be if they get Prelude early, because you're never going to go through the market at that point.
True.
Like, you're always just going to play Prelude into Temple of Time, so that at that point you lose a lot of time walking back to do Richard when you could have done it earlier as you were passing through. Oh?
Oh, hello. Oh!
Okay,
No,
doesn't do much just yet, but
you will need
good
it
to
eventually.
have nice and early, yeah. Like, this is a little reminiscent to me of, like, in Majora's Mask. People always talk about why Oath to Order is the worst song to need last, because it could just be absolutely anywhere. Din's kind of gets a little bit like that sometimes. You get to skip Shadow, and pretty much nothing else.
Good news for resident gold sculptures. They get to live today. 50 of them. 50 check is dead.
Goomba is save quitting.
Let's see, where's this gonna put us? Our survey says. Oh, okay
Oh,
then.
wow.
Okay then. No, that's pretty good actually.
That's
Not the age I'd want to be there, but I'd take it.
So we do know that Sarius is on Burning Kakariko, so that one at least isn't too relevant.
Which is behind Deku Jabu only,
Yeah.
which is
Um.
actually really low requirements. We know what one of the items are. It's in what's it called? It's in Fortress.
Right. Yeah. Oh wow. In theory,
Well,
something leading to it. Yeah.
At the very least, we know that Fortress has one of the keys to get something for Baronade. God, half hints make my head hurt sometimes.
I love it. I actually think it's one of the better changes in the last few years.
And it's really reminding.
Second of those.
Good placement for that, really. Right, what should we about? That's what we're talking about it. Wait. Did we see a dancing dad hit?
No.
And they both lose. I don't think that's how 1v1 races work. A hunch, you know?
Fine, if they both just like leave Spirit without fighting Twin Rover, and then Twin Rover has I don't know, the long shot. At that point I feel like they would both consider it them losing, regardless of who wins.
I think at that point even chat loses. I think everyone loses that scenario. Alright, let's see what River has for us then.
That was 2 beams from Riley, which I think makes sense, right? You've already seen that the crater one is dead, you've already seen that the graveyard one is dead, so you'll need potentially 1 for lake, 1 for the desert.
Yeah, 2 makes sense here. Ooh. Riley there, missing the chicken, but managing to save it from going for a swim.
I think I would rather... Bottom of the Well and Bolero song is an interesting one, because if it's Requiem, then you get to just basically full clear Bottom of the Well, because you can peek everything else, but... I don't know, like, the age changes are costly. That's a tough one.
It's whether you rate being able to do all the checks in one go. Basically, is it faster or slower to age change twice, get the song, but have to come back to the well later? Also, 40 skills dead. Now the skulls are definitely surviving today.
I know both of them are fans of Skull Seeds, so they might be disappointed with that, but at the same time, again, they can both be fans of Skull Seeds, but one of them is going to excel in that kind of environment. I don't know which one that is, but in theory, only one of them will be happy if there's no skulls.
Oh, it was a bow. I couldn't see that because of the lights in there. Okay, bow in river. Cool.
Does that push you towards Gerudo Fortress now?
I would head that way. The only issue is if you end up with a big chest on the roof.
The rooftop.
You definitely can't reach out of anything you have.
I mean, you're always going to go back there at that point. You're like, if you go to Fortress now, you're still looking at GTG having so much later. You can only do what? So you can do the 2 in the lobby of the training grounds. You can do the Stalfos, and you can get the next one out of Logic, yeah.
You
so
can the maze.
And then you can peek through everything in the maze, yeah. So you can get a lot, but at the same time, you're leaving a lot behind. I guess that incentivizes going for Bolero before bottom of the well, at least.
Yeah.
Why is Riley walking time?
That is a very good question. Unless he's going Valley after this check.
Yes, Grotto into Valley Lake?
That's the only way I can think of way to do it this order.
Yeah.
DC path to Queen Goomba. Okay, I guess that hint is valuable information. We could have gotten it in different order. What?
Okay, this is a Valley play at least.
That's the only order I can think of that would make sense to go there first, but you could have just gone Lake Valley if you desperately wanted the Valley check. I don't get it.
This, I feel like this might be a meta play. Riley isn't generally very big on metagaming, but he definitely is more than Goomba. Goomba will not metagame. Like, it is incredibly, incredibly rare for Goomba to metagame. I think I've seen it once ever in any randomizer, let alone just OoTR. And Goomba's less likely to go Valley. I know that Goomba doesn't like the player half as much as a lot of people, even in these settings. So, yeah, that's the only thing I can think of here.
I think this does mean we are seeing divergence here because Goomba appears to be going to domain. Great.
So metagaming, these two players know each other incredibly well, so they will both know each other's habits and play around them. Goomba doesn't do that as much. Goomba just plays his own game every time, pretty much. Riley usually does, but there will be times where he'll play more to his opponent than just what he thinks is best, if that makes sense. I mean, obviously he wouldn't do it if he didn't think it was best, but
Yeah.
doing it because he thinks it's best because his opponent won't do it, as opposed to because it's just the most logical play in a standalone scenario.
I was about to say that maybe the Begoron hint being in Valley might be useful knowledge so you don't go towards it. But then it turned up in Zora's domain, so it's a pointless thing. I can't say I'm surprised, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I also think that's not one that you're generally that worried about if you don't get.
Oh, I love
But
this.
fastest way to do it.
I like this when it works.
I didn't think that stick was going to hit the torch there, but it just managed to.
Yeah.
So yeah, with this much time left, this should be on. Big chest.
That's definitely a big chest. That could be interesting.
30 seconds is generally enough time for this. It can cut a little close depending on the rupee placements, but a couple of those look very close together, yeah.
That looks okay.
Four is safe. 4 is almost always safe for this, yeah.
Oh. Pre-dive maybe? Oh, nice.
Safer.
You love to see it, honestly. And it is... Oh, okay.
That's pretty big. That is pretty big.
Bag full of bombs. That's the longest cavern cleared, which is the Queen Goomba path.
Right, so we expect to see probably a Kokiri sword. Obviously, it could be something else leading to it. And then Deku is past the bongo.
Oh, nice little chain, yeah. I'm thinking that this is probably going to be Riley getting that. Oh my god!
Wow! Wow.
Use me?
So if Riley doesn't go to domain here, this is
That's bad.
horrendous for him. Absolutely horrendous.
And then slingshots, so that pretty much confirms what's in forgot the word, Stongas.
Yeah, it's still pretty much just Kokiri sword or something leading to it. And I don't know, normally the things leading to early-ish items would be bombs, hookshot, bow. They have all those. Strength maybe, but strength doesn't actually unlock all that many checks.
Not by itself, no, but if a strength block check has a strength 2, and that just makes an old daisy chain. First off, please God, no. Yeah, bombs and hookshot. Wow, we are a strength away from finishing Forest. Which is not what we want to hear into stone. This early in the
This
game.
is exactly it though, yeah, Forest requirements are so low. You need a bow in every seed, you need a strength upgrade in almost... There is a world where you don't need a strength upgrade, but it is incredibly, incredibly precise. Requires a specific dungeon layout and, like, a specific medallion layout, and then also specific layouts for keys in, like, 3 of those dungeons. And yeah, you always need a hookshot, so you're almost always getting the requirements to go to Forest, which makes it an awkward decision to make when you have to go there.
I mean, hot take here, Forest is a good dungeon.
I will disagree.
I'm saying it's
I
a
think
great
it's...
dungeon, I'm saying it's a good dungeon, so at least it has stuff.
I think it's worth noting that with closed Deku, the odds of any dungeon having an item become way more kind of condensed. There isn't as much of a kind of... It used to be that things like Deku and DC were incredibly likely to have items, and then like Bottom of the Well and the Gerudo Training Grounds were a little less likely, and Spirit and Shadow were in that mix. And then like further down you would have Forest and Fire, and way at the bottom you'd have Water and Jabu. Now they're kind of closer together. There's still a bit of a difference, but nowhere near as much. So I'd want to put off Forest for as long as possible here.
Riley? Oh! I think Riley's taking this route to Lost Woods. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but at the same time, it's more checks.
I get it. Yeah. I don't think I agree with it, but I understand it.
I mean, clearly the next play after this is to go down and do chicken, right? I'm not sure how long to keep a straight face for. I don't know, honestly. From Lost Woods, I didn't save up to get back to Goron City, and then come back through.
Oh.
Wait, what?
That's the save quit? I don't know.
Save's,
I'm a little confused.
Save's coming a single bomb.
2 bombs and 40 rupees.
Oh.
Source Domain Path to Morpher. Great.
I can't imagine how that would be Path to Morpher. I'm really struggling to work that one out. Oh. Oh, God.
Wait, what was Goomba playing for here?
Hammer.
Okay.
They say that the market is on the path to every single bloody stone.
Yeah, no, right. Hammer's nice to have, because you worry a little less on explosives, but you're still not going to fire for a while.
But I mean, having that is very nice, I'll admit. I like the hammer.
Yeah, especially with the chest size matches contents, you're gonna pick up fewer bomb drops. So having the hammer to kind of make up for some of the uses for explosives just means you worry about ammo a whole lot less.
True. Goomba taking that hammer straight to adult, which makes sense. Let's see what the pot has for us today.
Like, I feel like the biggest thing here actually is going to be going over to Fortress, and at this point, you've got the hookshot, you've got the bow. You can 100% get the Fortress item, and you can also then do Dodongo's Cavern, which is path to Goma, and between those two, you get a massive potential child section, depending on what else you find from those areas.
Time. Well, that's a few more checks in GTG.
Yeah, crossing over to Gerudo Fortress area has a way more value now. The big thing I'm looking at here is still no Requiem yet, so you still don't have access to...
Oh! As
Wow.
Riley, you hate to see that.
Yeah,
We're
Riley
all
went
right.
pretty far out the way for those grottos, and...
Oh.
It's worth saying, like... Wait, did Goomba... Oh, played Bolero to get here, so yeah. If he goes over to Lost Woods first, then Goomba will still do those checks, so it won't be too costly getting that late. If Goomba goes up to the Storm's Grotto first, then he'll just get to skip all of that. So Riley is going to go straight adult here. You've got too many items. I think you just have to... You have to... Was that Deku to Baronade? That's all of our path hints. That's every path hint already.
Okay.
So now I feel even more vindicated as well in saying, at this point, your adult play gets you... So you can cross the Wasteland out of Logic to get Zelda's Lullaby, you can go over to Fortress to get a Path to Baronade item, and you can do Dodongo's Cavern to get a Path to Goma item. Assuming that's Kakiri Sword, you go Child, you do Deku Tree, you get another Path to Baronade, and presumably between the two, you can then also do a Foolish, but a Medallion Jabu that... Like, this could lead to so many things. You've just got so much information here and so many items in this kind of early domain path that... How many items are they missing at this point? It would be both Boots, Magic, potentially a Strength, and Long Shot? Assuming all of those paths are just directly to a relevant item.
Yeah, I mean, we know Zora's Domain is the hookshot at this point. So we resolve one path at least.
But yeah, so Deku is path to Bongo, which has to be Hovers, Magic, Strength, or something leading to one of those. And obviously the worst would be Strength.
I was gonna say a path hit can't be pointed. You can't have two items. Start that again. Can't have one item point to two path hits, can you?
Correct. Yeah, it basically works as Way of the Hero did, and then just picks a path that's on.
I was gonna suggest that maybe it's Letter for Nocturne, but no, it'll be Letter for Baronade. Or Boomerang.
Like, oh, Wasteland.
Thanks, game.
Yay.
Game, love that for you.
But yeah, there's a lot here. They've got so much potential to work with these hints now and the items they've got through that domain route that they might just be missing, 2 or 3 items by the end of this. A wallet, on the other hand, not what you want to see.
Well, ideal.
Probably not the path. Probably not it.
We're hoping it's not. We're really hoping it's not. That has concerning implications. Okay, so Riley now following behind with the Bolero, going into the song, probably going into DC.
Yeah, I imagine the two of them from this point are going to follow a fairly similar route. And the only big difference here has been Riley taking that kind of roundabout path through Valley and Lake.
And now we do. What we didn't know is that the wallet.
It's probably not the wallet. It was the wallet.
I am really
not too worried just yet. They should have been worried.
I'm hoping for their case it's not the wallet. That implies something I'm really not comfortable in thinking of. AKA any bullshit ever.
So I will emphasize again, one thing with these two is they are very, very similar in terms of playstyle and habits, and they've done co-op together, so they know each other's playstyle and habits very, very well as well. It doesn't surprise me to see them taking fairly similar routes, but if you look at the seeding, and I think I want to say a general consensus. There we go. That's it.
That's solves the issue.
I want to say the consensus is that Goomba is generally favoured here, even if it's not a huge difference. So it's on Riley to try and change things. If someone's going to make a metagame call that kind of pushes things in a different direction, it's on Riley to do that. If they both make the play they think is best every time, they're going to end up on the same plays, and Goomba will have the advantage on that front.
Yeah, I feel you got a fair point there. I just had to take a moment to bring up the point that that was a bit of a bomb bag. We don't get that very often. Interesting. I also have to point out that keys suck.
Where was the first scale again?
Scale. It was definitely one of the earliest checks in the game.
Yeah. I don't think the bombs in Domain were locked, were they?
I don't think so. Oh, hang on, what's this? Oh. That got this sounds right, yeah.
Yeah,
That got
so I think
child shooting. God.
So the checks in Domain are completely open. They could get the bomb bag there in logic.
At the moment, the bomb bag in here is bomb bag locked because Hammer is also bomb locked. We haven't got a bracelet yet. And we haven't actually got, as was brought up in chat, we haven't got a path to King Dodongo to seed. So there has to be another bomb bag somewhere, or another way in.
Well, we don't need a path in there, right?
I'll be honest, I'm not sure how they generate those. I'm not sure if there has to be one for every medallion unless it's impossible.
I don't think. No, I think it literally just looks at the old Way of the Hero options and just picks 5, and then picks a path that they're on and hints to that.
I don't know. You think I'd know this by now? But...
yeah, I'm not confident saying that, but I'm pretty sure that's it.
God damn it, chap. Oh my god, a vanilla heart container. Oh my god.
Wow.
That's 2 vanilla things this dungeon's had. I have to be honest, for Goomba, this is probably a much different Kakariko village to what he's been used to. Coming as he is a Link to the Past runner, I believe, as well.
Yeah, he's actually been playing that again recently. I'm pretty sure his Discord profile says allegedly still a Link to the Past randomizer player.
That's what we're putting it, I guess. God. all of these peaks for these chest size matches content swings. I've never bothered to learn any of them. Many of them don't actually play. Oh my god. Well, that solves the dilemma of any potential King Dodongo path shenanigans.
All of the bomb bags are available everywhere.
That's only scale locked right now.
Also, welcome, Raiders. You're joining us on what's looking to be pretty fast so far. We have a lot of information and a lot of items, and only water and shadow to really worry about at this point.
Yes, which of course means we need to go and find a shoe shop. Logically, at least, we have a gold scale. We also know that Deku Tree has at least 2 major items, and we have the Queso to go do it. But it looks like Goomba's going to call upon her and do some.
Fortress
Possibly
has to be.
Yeah, Fortress. Yeah.
If you go to Fortress here and get one of the items for Jabu, you then do Deku Tree, get the other item for Jabu, and you just, in one child route, get to do Deku and Jabu in quick succession. That's so efficient.
And I was going to say possibly well, but you would have to go back to Adult to get a song check there.
Well, I mean, if you go over to Fortress, you probably cross on foot to get ZL in the Wasteland, and then go back from there. So there's some very big. Wait, what are you saying about?
I was gonna say, was that possible? But then I realised these ones don't care about logic.
Yeah, it'll be out of logic, but they'll be fine with that.
Logic is just a friendly suggestion.
So yeah, this.
That first bomb riding through phased through King Dodongo completely.
But yeah, so at this point, like, their priority is 100% going to be getting the checks in Fortress and picking up their Zelda's Lullaby from the Wasteland, or from across the Wasteland, and then going child to do Deku Tree. That will give them a minimum of 3 major items. In theory, 2 of those are paths to Baronade, so in theory, they will then be able to do Jabu after that, but we know that Jabu is foolish. That won't lead them to anything. After that, they're going to have a few options available, and 3 or 4 items that they'll need. That's where the... Wow!
Oh, wow. Okay. Are we just looking for long shot on the shoe shop at this point?
That is huge, though. That punishes Riley so much for that early play.
Yeah, for coming back down to very late.
Yeah, Riley came down this way earlier to do the open grotto into Valley, and didn't have explosives, so couldn't pick up that grotto. It is just stranded there now.
That's gonna hurt.
So it still could be a strength upgrade in Deku Tree for Bongo. It could be key logic for the Crusher Room. But that's the only option that isn't the hovers. I guess something leading to those as well.
Yeah, Goomba there grabbing Scarecrow because at this point, if you're in the area, you don't want to leave the rooftop behind if it's something. So grabbing Scarecrow now just
100%.
completely nullifies any break.
It's a 1 in 3 as well. Technically higher because there could be multiple items in Fortress.
True.
So a minimum of 1. So, like, this is a low cost, like, safety net.
Oh, there's the fish. Let's see what's on the fish. Riley's probably going to follow, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, I think this part has just been kind of spelled out. Is the path hints have been really strong, and just the number of items they got so early just pushed them in such a clear direction.
and planted the bean earlier to save a Scarecrow song play.
I
Sure,
will
why
say, this is a very scary seed for the runners right now, though. Because I kind of alluded to earlier, the impact that closed Deku has on the placements is your dungeons become way more condensed in terms of strength. So your stronger dungeons are weaker than they used to be, your weaker dungeons are stronger than they used to be. One of the big impacts of that right now is that you could finish Deku Tree, finish Jabu, get to the point where, okay, cool, you can finish Shadow, and then you're still missing an item for water. And suddenly you've got half the world open for one item.
And then we enter the casino. Doesn't matter how good you are at the game, at that point the house always wins. Also, I saw in chat, do we know where Letter is? We don't know where Letter is specifically, but we have 2 different path hints pointing to Baronade, which are Gerudo Fortress and Deku Tree. So one of them has to have the letter or something going directly to it, right?
Yeah, in theory. And that's the other thing as well. They have all the items they would need in Logic to get all of the checks in those locations. So, it's not even like it could be one hint leading to the other. You know, if for example, they didn't have the Kokiri Sword yet, the paths to Baronade could be a Kokiri Sword in Fortress, then leading to one of the items in Deku, and they would still be looking for the other. That's not an option.
It's true, we have the okay, so pretty much, yeah.
They
Could
have everything
still-
they need for the Fortress checks, they have everything they need for the Deku Tree checks, yeah.
It could just be a strength in Deku Tree to logically get your boss key in Shadow. But that's unlikely at this point, I think.
I think strength in Deku for the Bongo one is reasonably likely. Well, not reasonably likely, it's pretty much 50% at this point. But the Baronade hints are so kind of pointed at this stage.
Like big chest in the fortress.
Oh,
Oh my god.
there's the strength. Okay. So, and the hammer was in. So yeah, at this point, okay. Well, now we just know it's some hover boots or something leading to them in Deku Tree. It's just long shot.
We are looking for a long shot. Anywhere in the bloody world.
In theory, it's just long shot. There is still more.
I mean, iron boots could still be required.
I think the big one, now that I think about it, that would probably the worst case. So at this point, Goomba is ahead. So the worst case for Goomba at this stage would be if the path to Baronade was a way to cross the desert.
Oh, that's what you want to do.
I guess that can't happen though, because we know that hovers are in there. And hovers would put that into Logic. It can't be that, yeah.
This is...
I guess lens, yeah, lens, Logic. So if it's lens to cross, then you just know that the letter or boomerang, whichever one you're missing, is just behind Zelda's Lullaby somewhere. And at that point, again, it's that kind of casino situation.
After Bongo be long shot to cross.
Yes.
I think theoretically
wait.
yes. Because you
Only-
need to yell.
Only if the hovers are somehow locked behind all of that, yeah. The hovers would have to be locked by the long shot or Zelda's Lullaby or something from that path.
Which is fun.
I think lens would be the big one. Yeah, if it was lens and then you just have a kind of casino hunt for one of your items, it's behind Zelda's Lullaby, you're just like, alright, well, this doesn't help me then. If you get that now, getting that in Goomba's position now is actually more valuable than getting it in Deku Tree. because you have that information before you go child. Oh, it was the right.
Well, I think I've just worked out, by the way, but I think Requiem is definitely in Temple of Time. There can't be a nice cabin or Sunsong Grave. And we have
Postgrave.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, they could just have to cross on foot. Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping it's on Temple of Time then. It wouldn't be a stream with me on commentary without me getting one thing wrong, would it?
It's, to be fair, easy one to do.
Right. Burning Cax hinted.
Yeah, we know that one's Sarius.
Yeah, Sarius. Yeah, Burning, as I was saying, Burning Cac and Requiem Song are hinted, and both the ones that locked by ZL. I'm hoping it's not Requiem. Oh, hello.
That's something.
That is categorically and 100% definitely something.
If Sponge's call of long shot in Deku Tree to cross to get hovers in spirit actually plays out here, I'm calling big shenanigans on that one.
It turns out Sponge can see the future. Anyone? Also, yeah, shout outs to both strengths being Gerudo area so far. Oh, 2 keys. This could be probably one of the quickest seeds I've seen in the tournament so far.
Well, there's 2 big options here. Either it's incredibly fast, or it's a giant casino hunt. Those are the 2 big options right now, and you don't want... I gotta say, in Riley's position, you don't want either of those. You know, even if it's a slight difference, Goomba is favoured here. You don't want an incredibly fast seed because you just assume you're behind in that scenario. You have to make a play.
Oh, for God's sake. Another bomb-locked bow, by the way. Well, a bomb-locked bow. The first one wasn't. But you know what I mean. How many other things do we need? Riley!
Easy to do during the day.
Yeah, to be fair, they aren't blind at night in the day.
Oh,
There's
big chest up there, though.
Uh-oh.
Another wallet? Okay.
To be fair, we know roughly where ZL is, so... Second wallet isn't as scary as it could be.
And also got the Kokiri sword in Benongo's cabin earlier, so the wallet didn't mean much in the end.
Not crap. Oh, we don't need to if we've seen them all.
Yeah, I don't know if Goomba could see everything from there, but either way you won't need too many, so...
Yeah, we know we don't need all of them, so...
Yeah, I feel like you probably still grab the one here if you haven't peeked everything, because it's just a very quick one to get. I hate trying to use the hook shot for keys that have got away. Just use the bow, it's way faster to fire.
I just hate using the hookshot for keys full stop, to be honest. Yeah, I see if everyone's in chat saying go ice. There's a problem with that one. We're missing one of 4 crucial items. A bottle, or a bottle. Also,
with Deku Tree being path to Baronade, odds are their first bottle is going to put the blue fire in anyways. Just by being Ice Cavern access, so the wallet really doesn't matter.
I think this should
be right now I think Roomba's definitely got the edge here, but Guiley can come back into this.
I bet. What a bunch of beavers. Wouldn't the horse still be there? Or does it get despawned when you get caught?
Ah, good question, actually. I think it's still there, but...
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
okay.
would you have skipped? Okay, yeah, that's actually a good point here. Would you have skipped the training grounds here? I don't
probably
think
wouldn't.
so. After getting strength 2,
I probably wouldn't, but I'm far too thorough a player, so.
like, you've picked up all your hints, so you know you're not getting a foolish hint free or anything. You've now got all of the items to clear it if you want. And you know that even if you just follow your path hints to the end, you're still missing at least one item. I feel like I would still do it there, but I don't know. I also value Guerrilla Training Grounds pretty highly because I mostly come from an older meta where it was way better.
Oh, so close to being nice there, Miley. I don't know, honestly, the second strength is definitely an incentive to go towards spirit, if nothing else.
I mean, it does both, right? I think the big thing here is, like, I don't think you want to do either dungeon. I think if you skip one, you skip both. If you're skipping them, I think it's to go and pick up Zelda's Lullaby and then just rush towards your path hints and follow those and see where that puts you. Because if you're only missing one item at that point, great, you're missing one item, you can just start to make decisions based on that. But if you get something like... I'm trying to think of an example now. If you were to get the lens from one of those locations instead of Ruto's letter or the hover boots or whatever, then at that point, that starts to determine a little more of the plays you make elsewhere, and suddenly things like Gerudo Training Grounds that isn't locked behind Zelda's Lullaby becomes way less valuable.
Yeah. Goomba skip a check in the desert because Haunted Wasteland is hinted foolish, so nothing will be there that's useful.
And that was a small chest. It's hard to tell on that peak.
I think, yeah, probably rock. I've never been good with that one. Also, screw levers. If anyone in the dev team wants to try and get rid of levers, you'd have my eternal gratitude.
I feel like levers have to be one of the reasons there's no Randomizer in this. Could you imagine just spawning P-hats here instead?
Oh god. Or iron knuckles.
I just think P-hats, because they're like massive, they lag the game a lot.
Thanks, Cemetery. Oh.
Oh.
Oh,
Well.
okay. Well, that pretty much...
Jeez. So it's...
That even confirms hover boots or Requiem obtainable before this.
Right, but we've got the Deku path to Bongo, so it's probably hover boots.
Oh god, okay.
The only potential trip up at this point would be if Deku has the lens. That would be it. And that means that there's something behind a Zelda's Lullaby check. But otherwise, this is done. Otherwise, this is... We are still missing Nocturne at the moment, but the options are so limited for that, and they're gonna get a song from beating Deku Tree, yeah.
I suppose I should probably be that person. We still haven't got the light arrows. But you definitely play for the hint.
Play to the hint. Every time, just play to the hint.
We also haven't got Nocturne yet, but we haven't had that hinted, so there's very few places it could be.
Yeah, like, behind Deku would be the most reasonable. But then... There is, like, yeah, there is exactly one scenario where this isn't... I hesitate to say it's over when they still have 4 dungeons to do, because there's enough execution between those 4 dungeons that could skew that. Although Riley coming out here and not... Did I miss something? Did Riley, like, save in Training Grounds or something?
I did not notice that.
Because coming here feels odd. But I guess if you can reset back afterwards, then you're fine. Okay, yeah, do it. Okay, that makes a little more sense then. But yeah, this is also going to be very costly for him.
I'm not sure. Is he going adult now? Going child now from here? Guess he thought it was quicker. Also, hooray! He took the ocarina.
God, I
don't know how I feel about this. To be honest.
Yeah.
And there's a horse.
I'm not a fan of this.
Well, I'm not sure how much it is for the runners, but happy 1 hour, everyone.
For Goomba, probably quite a bit.
Oh yeah, it's like what I can tell is maybe one contentious item, and we don't 100% need it. And that being the iron boots. I think everything else is basically wrapped up in a nice little bow. Which is kind of interesting when you think that we also haven't seen even when I hit 10 skulls yet, never mind 20.
Yeah, I mean, when you get handed that much, I guess the big thing with the routing of this seed was they were handed like nothing for the first 10 minutes. And then they went to the main and suddenly came out with bombs, hookshot, I think there was something else around there. Was it the bow not long before that? And then like you get the hammer just after that as well, and it's just all of a sudden it's just like quick succession. You've got all of these items at once and you have all of your path hints open, so you just play to your path hints. And
yeah,
everything just
river, I remember.
Yeah, that was it, yeah. So yeah, everything just suddenly in quick succession just flowed one into the next, and you didn't have time to even think about things like skull routing or kind of any of the big routing differences. All we've seen are these small little things, and the biggest difference at this point is Riley not crossing.
Oh no.
Immediate lens.
I mean, you do need that logically for the wasteland, which doesn't help.
If Requiem is locked behind Zelda's Lullaby at this point, then we are not done.
Oh boy.
It's likely, but yeah, if Requiem is locked behind Zelda's Lullaby, then you have... The logic basically says you're meant to use the hovers to cross and get Zelda's Lullaby to beat Shadow. Which would mean the hovers could be anywhere not locked by Zelda's Lullaby. Pretty much. Not locked by crossing specifically, so Zelda's Lullaby or Longshot.
This is where we find out, of course, that lens is actually the path to Barricade.
Also possible. Just let her over in spirit or something.
Oh, there's the second big chest we're expecting. I mean, that's also possible. I was thinking letter in lens game.
All that, yeah. There could just be yeah. Somehow I'm thinking of the lens for crossing and.
Oh. Okay then.
Okay.
Well, I think we go straight to lens game off that.
I mean, so obviously there's still 2 checks left. In a way, I had to think about that one. But also, even beyond that, there's the kind of that crossing logic suddenly plays into all of this. The lens leading you to Zelda's Lullaby means the likelihood there is that your letter locks. Well, your letter is locked behind Zelda's Lullaby somehow.
Ooh. I hate getting the ground jump here. Getting that ground jump and storing the torch is a nightmare. Thankfully, we have Inspire. So we don't give a toss about storing a torch. I think we are. It's just Letter and Lights from Letter and Nocturne from Glow Mode. Irons, if you want to add logic to the mix as well.
Yeah. So the big thing right now is that the letter Deku Tree is Path to Baronade, and right now the only thing that could be that item is the lens. The long shot was across after crossing the desert, and Zelda's Lullaby was after crossing the desert. So something between all of that right now has to lead to the letter.
Yeah, unless
Or
of
it's
course,
just on Goomba. But...
or just right here. Yeah, we'll find out in about 10-15 seconds. Survey says.
Also, the roll ground jumps out. I hate it, but you have to do it here because you will lose the storage unless you want to re-equip for Dins.
I'm not gonna lie. In Goomba's position, I think my first stop is back to the market and go and do a lens game. Because it's
I think I agree.
It's the simplest lens check to get to.
Yeah, I think I agree. And it's just, you're going to be going that way anyway. You have Sunsong, so there's, like, no kind of cost to doing it other than walking in and out. It's a slow check, but you've only got a handful of things available at this point. The question then becomes, what do you do after that? And I think the answer, to me at least, is Zelda's Lullaby checks, which would mean I would want to play Bolero. Go adult, play Bolero, and get both of the fairies there. That would be my first stop afterwards. Bottom of the Well is also a very good option.
Be Lens Path Shadow of ZL and Hover's Path Baronade. I don't like that. That sounds terrible.
It definitely could be though, because Zelda's Lullaby it would lead to the same result in practice, which is Zelda's Lullaby locks both. But
you don't have to like it.
Yeah. So Lens is Path to Baronade. That is the missing piece of this puzzle right now. A lens that logically locks Zelda's Lullaby, probably. We don't actually know that one yet.
The long shot, potentially.
And the long shot. Also, as always, LLRRL. Northern Ranch, Ruto's letter. That's how I always do this. Oh, I'm already out.
Good start for people here. Good start. I didn't see many R starts, but RL, Ruto's letter. Which is what we're hoping to hear. Well, Goomba is. I think that's everyone out, by the way. No more chat game. Okay.
Okay, well, we said the first two were RL, so Naruto's letter, so the last three have to tell us the direction we're going in. So we got an RR.
Leading to the right, apparently.
RRL. Really red location. It's in the Death Mountain crater.
Oh dear. That's not what we want to see. So the King Zora has Ruto's letting the lens to cross 2 and 3. So, oh, I don't like that. Ron large.
I wouldn't... Wait.
You need ZL to get to King Zora.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like this.
But then they don't have a bottle.
Yet. Well, we have a free song at least because we beat Deku Tree.
Alright, well, I'm out again. But also, Ruto's letter.
I think if it, somehow the devs, without telling anyone, managed to get away to seed the treasure chest game.
Okay.
Okay, ready for Ruto's letter. Ruto's letter.
Ruto's letter. Ruto's letter's lost.
Oh god! It turns out Meta was in Seraphim's pocket the entire time.
It would be seeded by number of attempts, right? It would be one where it's like if both players. Oh my.
Oh no!
Well, there's another Zelda's Lullaby check for you to go and do. That is 100% what Goomba is playing to here, though, right?
Yeah, it looks like it.
After Len's game, he's just gone and done this straight away because it's Zelda's Lullaby locked.
I can guarantee the moment he goes back to adult, he's going to save warp immediately, reappear at the top of DMT, and walk backwards. With a bomb, of course.
Would that be better or worse than doing it by Bolero? Probably better. I feel like hovering across is better than climbing the ladder. Yeah, you have a long shot. That's close.
Those aren't French Filler Gold Gauntlets, because Gold Gauntlets are in Ganon's castle. Was that Prelude?
Yeah. That was Prelude, yeah.
Oh my god's sake, that doesn't help at all!
So, worth noting here, that means that Nocturne is locked by Zelda's Lullaby, and Requiem is locked by Zelda's Lullaby. Those are the two remaining checks, Ice Cavern and the Composer Grave.
Which means hovers are the only way across.
Yes.
I hate this.
So all of the logic makes it so that both items, and we know that the lens, obviously, is required for the letter somehow, so that means that 100% that was it. Zelda's Lullaby is required for both of these things, and you needed the lens and the hovers to get there.
Right.
And Riley, sure enough, now has to make that long cross back over the wasteland to pick up that Zelda's Lullaby. And I don't think you play to Spirit at this point, right?
I'm really not sure. Maybe the ZL lock check on the right-hand side?
It has some checks that fit the bill, but
Oh,
not
maybe.
many.
Okay. That's going to be a safe walk. To go do the one in DMT, walk in, do the one DMC. And I'm not sure where we go.
Yeah, this is definitely a really big split here. It's like a little bit Casino where Goomba's ahead. You're pushing the Zelda's Lullaby locked checks, but I don't
Also
know,
true,
Riley could still just take this, yeah.
Also fair point. It doesn't have to be ZL locked, it's in Spirit. I just realised that.
Yeah, it does depend a little on how the keys play out as well, but for sure. I guess actually it doesn't depend on how the keys play out, because if it's bad for the keys, it's locked behind Zelda's Lullaby, which you've crossed for. Yeah, never mind.
And just crossing is what we've just been discussing, ZL's locked behind, so...
Mm-hmm. I'm a little surprised at Goomba doing this.
Yeah, you're going past it, you haven't done it yet.
I guess Goomba might be missing some of the hints as well. I don't know which hints each one has read specifically.
I've not kept track.
Yeah. I think... Are we still missing a sometimes hint? I think that was all I had missing.
I have written down Nocturne, Requiem, Fire Hammer Chest, and Shadow Pot. I didn't catch what was on Shadow Pot, though.
Key.
Okay, so you do need that one.
Those are the same four I had, yeah.
Where is Longshot? I think we're going to get in about 90 to 120 seconds. It's on the Colossus Berry. I hope he gets it.
Water is Water's an awkward one because, yeah, like, it's a good play because you're going to have to go there at some point anyway. So going in there to get to the boss key, regardless, is always really, really strong. It's just progression. It's like massively Zelda's Lullaby locked. But getting there is terrible.
Ugh,
The
yeah,
routing to get there is the problem,
until you find Serenade.
which is on OOT.
Oh, good point. Yeah. Oh dear. 10-20 skulls aren't dead yet. We're still potentially
I
missing.
think-
We're still potentially missing stuff.
Okay,
Potentially.
lights could be there, I think.
Light
But
arrows.
in terms of the letter, I'm pretty sure 10 and 20 are out.
Yeah, no way letter can be there. Could still be iron boots. Could still be light arrows. Could be a bottle.
Could be
There could
first
be a
possible.
bottle. Could be a bottle of one of them, and that might be crucial. Because for all we know, it's still bloody paradox letter.
In the time that Riley's taken to recross the wasteland, Goomba's done 3 or 4 Zelda's Lullaby checks, checked a hint, and is now about to go and pick up a couple more.
Another strong added item here. To be fair, if you get Nocturne here, you play it immediately, right?
Yeah, you just go do Shadow. Like, absolutely. All of that is locked behind Zelda's Lullaby if you get Nocturne here.
Like, just do your Shadow Temple. Not even that, it's a... Oh, no. Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Wrong bottle.
It's still a bottle.
Hey, you keep it. You don't have to pick up a fish for Jabu now. You've already been given it.
It's worse than that.
It is a blue fire bottle.
That is now a bottle, and you have all the requirements. It unlocks another ZL check.
Okay, there you go.
You do. Yeah.
Power through Shadow now, and that is
Yeah, you do that first, of course.
12 checks that are all locked by Zelda's Lullaby.
Yeah, you absolutely just go Shadow here. Just play for the hint. By which I mean, read the hint there. You're still missing it sometimes. Nah, I'm not gonna. Let's run reading hints. Who reads hints?
I mean, at this point, I don't think the hints will help anyway.
No, I think we'll put it with double hints.
I guess there's exactly one hint I can think of that would be relevant at this stage, and it's King Zora.
Can Central Pillar be a hint?
Yeah.
That would also be very useful right now, actually.
I've just noticed that Riley didn't go over to the ferry after picking up Zelda's Lullaby.
Hard to them leaving about doing that, honestly. I'm doing Spirit first, but...
Yeah, he'll still know that it's all of the Zelda's Lullaby checks are relevant for the logic at this point, so presumably he'll play Requiem, or you'll drop on the Requiem pad if you beat Spirit. Otherwise, you play Requiem to leave if you don't have a boss key. And go straight there, but...
That's if you beat Spirit. You might not actually want to, because it's a stone and it takes time. I'm not sure.
I don't know, yeah, given how much of it is locked, like, all of this is locked by the logic here, so potentially want to push it. It also depends on how behind Riley feels. I wouldn't be surprised if he feels a little bit behind at this stage. Like, I don't think Riley's out of it by any stretch. There is every chance that Shadow has nothing useful, and then it's still just that casino hunt. And Riley will be following the logic. Riley will know that Zelda's Lullaby is the key to everything here. After Spirit. Spirit also could have been the key.
We have not seen Forest Temple yet, by the way.
Forest is just completely written off at this point, isn't it? They started with Minuet. Again, in terms of the letter only, I'm not considering irons or lights at this point. You'll get a hint for lights, you don't need irons, hopefully.
Back to my knowledge, we only have one unknown song-lock check, and it's Ice Cavern, right?
Ice Cavern.
Ice Cavern's Requiem.
But it's locked behind a letter, so you're not going to push that too aggressively.
Which means, actually, if we, as I saw in chat, if we don't need to do child side to beat spirit, letter can't be here.
If you need to do it, you mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Wait, hang on.
If you need to do child side, like for a key, then the letter cannot be on the top end of spirit. It can't be 5 key lock.
I knew what I meant. No one else did, but I did.
I got it. I got it.
Yeah, I think you'd have to. Oh my god, what's here?
So the one fringe option that is available that isn't Zelda's Lullaby locked is fire. If it's the hovers for Baronade, would be Fire Temple having the letter locked behind hovers for Volvagia. That's the only option that isn't Zelda's Lullaby locked at this point. Or I guess in theory, an early boss key into Morpher isn't Zelda's Lullaby locked, but I'm just ruling out water as locked by Lullaby.
There's like what? 2 total checks?
Yeah, you can get 2 checks, and then if you get the boss key, you can get water.
Oh god, let's on Super Sun. Oh god, what if it's left on Super Sun? That'd be awful. No, it can't be. We have long shot. We could bypass it.
Letter.
Long shot wasn't locked by. Oh, well, both lighthouse. We do kind of need those.
Wait, is Spirit locked yet? We still haven't seen. Oh yes, this is 2 keys. Didn't do the other hand, did he?
2 keys of what I believe is 1 key lock, not 1
Yeah,
non-5 key
just
check.
the BMOS chest, yeah.
Yeah, so letter can't be up here at least. So
This is hard because like it's the kind of logic that is definitely difficult to follow while you're racing. There's so much to get tripped up on here because you're so far out of the logic, and you can follow it back, but doing that while you're playing is a really, really difficult thing to do. The problem here for Riley is it's really costly to do at this point.
oh yeah.
I just want to say, when we did the league last season, Goomba had the 2 fastest seeds in the entire thing. Does he just have a habit of doing this? Is there something I'm missing?
I don't know. I think his fastest seed on the stat screen was like a 140 something.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, holy crap.
I think Riley going into Spirit here wasn't a metagame play, but going up to Twin Rover probably would be. And obviously, we've kind of had the time and the... You know, we're not focused on execution while we're doing all of this, so we know that it's actually just not going to happen. Like, it 100% cannot be the solution. Assuming we're right about him having done all the other checks.
Yeah. Riley has not gone to the Colossus Ferry, so Riley does not know where the long shot is.
Yeah.
He's about
I guess
to.
in theory, this check could be...
So, I don't think I might have to side for a second.
I was worried. That was an instant reset. It's in Spirit. Where was the robots?
Beep boop.
Beep boop? We're no longer... Are we still robotic?
Are we good?
I think it's Discord. I think Discord's just struggling a little.
Discord did have problems earlier. Also, Goomba, could you do us a favour and not die?
Or die and make it a really close race.
You could also do that, yes.
Remember, if you're watching this back, I love you, I'm sorry.
Dying in Shadow Temple is normally not good.
Oh,
Dying in Shadow
Shadow's like the
Temple
worst
this
place.
Dying in Shadow Temple this late is bad. Dying in
There's that long shot.
Dying in Shadow Temple on Bongo is how you lose tournament races.
I've told this story before, that way back when, I remember the first race I ever won, like the first big race I ever won, and I remember actually, as a player who isn't part of the community anymore, who came second, and then Cola came third, and I remember it very distinctly because I was on 1.5 hearts fighting Bongo, and I was like, no, I'm not dying now, and I used Nehrus to win that race. This is going back like 3-something years now. It's not the point.
Oh, that
Oh, that looks big.
that's boss key.
Boss key. Okay.
I mean, you do also need that.
Yeah, no, it was big chest and it was required, but
Not quite the big chest you're looking for here.
so Riley is going to be a shadow behind here, and will have done Spirit as opposed to a bunch of the Zelda's Lullaby checks that Goomba did. So there is definitely a bit of a split here where each of them can make up time on the other. Riley is behind right now, has to do Shadow compared to Goomba. But then if Goomba goes to Spirit, Riley makes back a lot of that time. And Spirit is a perfectly reasonable play at this stage. The problem is, crossing to go to Spirit is really unlikely.
Yeah.
Again, similar to like we said about water earlier. The dungeon itself is a good play. Getting there is terrible.
Yeah, at this point, Bob the Well is fully clearable. So there's also that option, taking the age change and go to that.
Yeah. Most of the checks in there, you know, aren't going to be too relevant. So I would be hesitant to go there, but at the same time, the way the key logic can play out, I think it's worth it. Are there some other big lullaby checks that we've just not considered?
We've seen all the fairies, I believe, at this point. Water Temple.
All that are available, at least, yeah.
We're seeing the ones that in Shadow Temple now, actually. In about a minute. Spirit, we don't have to worry about that much. I love the hook shot on the smoke, by the way. There is Ice Cavern, but it can ignore Ice Cavern because that's another requirement. Routers could absolutely be on Bongo, yes.
Yeah, it can still be anywhere in Shadow that's left. You know, saying about the fairy fountains earlier, we haven't seen the Zora Fountain one, but again, that's all written out.
Yeah, I was ignoring that one.
Yeah, again, all the ones that are relevant we've seen, yeah.
Yeah. I normally ignore the fountains there, given my gameplay, so...
So we've got the tail end of Shadow, we've got King Zora, we've got Bottom of the Well, and we have Water Temple? Is there anything else beyond that?
But specifically Zelda?
In this seed, so... long shot locked as well, but I don't think that adds anything else.
I mean, better checking Light Trial, but that is literally out of reach and out of mind.
That is, yeah, locked by ZL, but also locked by Letter. Yep. There's really not much at this point. We're an hour and a half in, and we're down to like 4 locations that we're talking about. And one of those locations is pretty terrible.
Goomba just got hugged by the hand. That's not going to be good for your time.
Yeah, talking of pretty terrible. Definitely not ideal.
We also haven't seen if we need.
Okay.
I think Goomba got that in its jump as well.
I think
we
so,
have
probably. Yeah.
We haven't seen Iron Boots yet. There is a chance we will need them.
It's possible. Yeah, definitely possible. God, that would be the worst one, wouldn't it?
Oh, casino for Iron Boots. Let's go.
You go to no. You go to water. You do all the checks that you can. You beat the dungeon, and the letter is just on the central pillar. That would be the worst. That is the worst case scenario there.
Oh god. I bet it turns out you beat the dungeon, you do shoot the sun, and oh look, there's a pair of Iron Boots there. Actually possible.
So there are two options on the path logic for Deku to Baronade right now, because the hover boots might actually be... It might be the hover boots for Baronade. The lens is 100% required for both Shadow and Baronade at this point. But so are the hover boots. Both of them lead to crossing the wasteland, and both of them are required for both. So either way, it's 2 items for 2 dungeons, and it doesn't matter which way round they are. They both lead to the same solution. There is actually one exception where it's just one, in which case it would be lens for Bongo and hovers for Baronade.
Also, Goomba there
Or
showing us...
Forest. We said this earlier. Forest as well. Sorry.
That's fair, yeah. Goomba there showing us exactly how good the song Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne is.
I always use Take On Me.
Yeah, that works.
Away.
Dabbing away. I'm not going to try and improvise lyrics. I'm bad at that. Well, there's the easy option,
Alright.
God.
Not Shadow. Let the casino commence.
Da, 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 da. Oh, that's not casino level, is it? Well, Shadow gets us our 4th medallion, our yellow pancake.
Everyone buckle in, we're in for a potentially long ride at this point. I guess long compared to the rest of the season. It's actually been pretty short still, but...
Yeah, we're still at the 92-minute mark. 93-minute mark, now. For a Season 5 seed, we're still in early game, essentially. Most ones I've seen don't usually get to go to at least another 45 minutes.
Where is...
Wait.
We're going here?
I mean, you have to walk out to here at the very least. You haven't got to warp song to anywhere relevant other than go to Kid.
Prelude?
I think it's no water.
Yeah, water would make sense, actually. That... Again, it's progression. It's 100% required. You're never getting Serenade the Seed. The only way this feels bad is if you have to do Central Pillar, which... Yeah, no. You're not playing around the, what, 1 in 11?
Something like that.
I guess it's actually a 1 in 12 this seed. Normally it's a 1 in 11 because it's... Boss Key can't be on Morpher, but in this seed, it doesn't matter because you're also looking for the letter, so it's actually...
Yeah.
Oh, well, actually, either way, that wouldn't be a 1 in 12, it would be some other god unknown number.
It'd be 1 in a number that I'm not trying to work out because I don't want to do university level maths. It would be uni level. It'd be lower than that, but still, maths is hard.
1 in 11 plus 1 in... Oh god, how many ZL checks do we have left in the seed? I'm not even going to try and figure this out. 1 in something.
1 in something is probably the best we're going to get, honestly. One in maths. There we go.
I've done more maths in the last, like, 2 weeks than I'd done for, like, 5 years before that, just by playing Nerdle.
Oh god, Nerdle. Nowhere is free from the Wordle invasion. I'll say Riley's in better shape in Shadow right now than Goomba was. Because
healthy, at least.
Yeah, while Goomba came in with 6 hearts and 3/4 of them full, Riley's coming in with 6 hearts and 3/4 of a heart empty.
I think the big thing here in terms of, like, the checks right now, Riley has done Spirit, Goomba has done a handful of fairies, so it's quicker for Riley to catch up on those. But Goomba is less likely to go to Spirit than Riley is to go to Death Mountain, Castle Fairy, which chains into outside Ganon's castle.
Can Letter be on King Zora? Yes, absolutely yes.
Yep, the big options right now are Water Temple, King Zora, and then as an outside chance, Fire or Forest. But that depends on very particular key placements. Well, very particular for Forest. Pretty likely for Fire. And Bottom of Well. I knew I was forgetting.
I thought I was responding to where is the wallet Riley is missing, and I was a little concerned there. I want to say the wallet's on one of the fairies.
No, I think he just walked past the one in the training grounds. I just don't think he picked it up.
I don't mean to alarm you, but this is a Zelda's water.
Yeah.
That's... Not sure if that's concerning or interesting. I'm gonna go with both.
So, normally I'd be like, oh, that's kind of cool. That can have interesting, like, logical implications and stuff. Now it cannot. Because it doesn't really mean anything in this one, yeah.
Iron Boots are not dead yet.
Central Pillar could still be Ruto's letter.
Yeah.
But you don't worry about that until you find the Iron Boots and have almost nothing else to do.
Pretty much the only item that can't actually be in here are the Iron Boots for Water Temple. Oh god, Lax could be Ruto's letter because it's blocked by Longshot. Oh, I hate it.
No, it's still locked, yeah. That's the thing, everything is still locked at this point, like... Because Longshot and Zelda's Lullaby were locked in the same location, it doesn't change any of the logic. The Water Temple being Zealous is cool. It's a nice novelty. But in this particular seed, it's actually more of a detriment than anything, because it gives you just another decision to make that you don't want to have to make.
Oh, hello. This could also just be it. Not checking it immediately, which, fair enough. Peek this one as well.
Yeah, there's still a whole lot of other useless items that could be in a big chest.
If this is Ruto's, this leads to some very interesting logical implications to where the Iron Boots can actually be. It'll just be well, right? At that point.
Or King Zora still?
Or King's. Oh god. Well,
I guess the Iron Boots can be the Iron Boots can be almost anywhere. They don't have to be locked by.
There it is. Well, this has definitely been a quick one.
That is, yeah, that's a pretty incredible seed.
This could even, with a bit of speed, be sub 2.
Ooh, Baronade is a slow dungeon, but...
It's a big ask, but it is possible.
But yeah, Irons could definitely still be pretty much anywhere. Because they don't have to be locked by anything. The only thing we know is that they lock Ruto's letter. So it could be absolutely any other check in the game. It doesn't care about the Zelda's Lullaby, doesn't care about any of the crossing logic. It's just they have to not be behind letter, and that's it.
Pretty much. So what we're looking at right now is Goomba has created the perfect route. There has actually been any instance where I'd say, no, Goomba, this is a bad idea with the routing.
This is, yeah, I think the only thing that's come up as like a question mark, and I think it was a question mark, it's one that people might disagree with, but it's close, was whether or not it was worth dipping into the Gerudo training grounds before crossing. I think that's the only question mark I can really find.
That's
And like I say,
interesting.
even that one, yeah, I think you'll get different answers from different people. It's not like it was a bad decision. It was a decision that different people would have done differently.
Yeah. I was about to meme and say, "Oh, Iron Boots are on lax," but that's impossible.
Shoot, son.
Super Sun is actually possible.
We're not going to see it now anyway, though, because you just don't bother.
True. For those who aren't aware, by the way, Super Sun has two ways of getting it. You either beat the dungeon, which requires long shot, iron boots, whatever, or you call the scarecrow that's on the island. Oh,
Sure, I guess.
I'll take it.
It'll
That
make
saves-
your Ganon equips a little bit nicer, I guess.
Insert the "it saves 30 minutes" meme here. It doesn't say 30.
It doesn't even make your equips nicer, because if you try and equip it for... I guess you equip it for the Dynalfoss, use it on the tower climb, and then de-equip it after jump slashing against Ganondorf, and actually the amount of time you save is not that much more than the time it takes you to menu it at the start.
That's a really good spawn for us as well, because
Yeah, actually, that's a really good location. Also, yeah, for
I mean-
what it's worth, I do think you equip the sword there for the tower climb, if only for the Stalfos and Iron Knuckles being quicker. But I don't think it saves. I would be stunned if it saves more than like 15 seconds.
it saves time on the Dynalfoss as well, because then at least most people I know go through with a charged spin attack,
Yeah,
and with Master Sword that
it's-
does one shot.
it's mostly for the menuing is like taken away again. It's definitely worth doing, but it doesn't save that much. It isn't just a game because the equipping it is actually pretty bad, because otherwise you just wouldn't equip on the way up. I'm a very big proponent of Big Goron Sword is not actually that good. People massively overvalue it. But...
It's nice. Don't get me wrong.
yeah, it's a nice convenience that saves time, but like... there's a reason it became the meme of like, oh, it saves 30 minutes. It's like...
Nah, 29 at most. Come on.
oh my god.
It didn't create anything different for me at this point.
It's like, if you get it at the very start of a seed, I could see it saving maybe 20. Maybe.
Riley, no! Not the fish!
Is Riley doing big pose?
This is Big Pose.
Interesting.
I don't know why you do Big Pose in this circumstance. Oh, okay, the other bottle is ZL.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
Lots
I
of
guess-
fans, yeah.
I'm not a fan of that just because there are 2 other bottles out there, and you've skipped so many checks that aren't locked that it's pretty high odds that one of those checks has a bottle just waiting around.
Yeah. Yeah, Goomba going through Jabu now. Goomba Jabu is all actually really fun to watch. Riley... This is water, right?
Probably?
I hope it's water, because the other thing could be a CCT, and that's
Yeah, maybe.
Oh dear.
Oh, it looks like it might be as well.
Okay,
Oh no,
thank God.
no, okay. Sudden detour around, cool.
Yeah, it's absolutely water.
So, yeah, Riley will beat water here, find the letter, and just that little bit too far behind on it.
Letter was in the central bow target.
So, Foolish Jabu doesn't save that much time over just a normal Jabu here. You get to respawn a chest and skip 2 rooms. 2 of the faster rooms in the dungeon. You still have to fight all of the... I was going to say slimy things, but the slimy things aren't the tentacles. The slimy things are the things that get removed when you beat the tentacles.
These are parasitic tentacles?
With a question mark, right?
Yeah,
I forgot
with the
about that
question
one.
mark. It's probably one of my favourite OOT enemy names. Along with the other one in here.
Tail pass around.
I'm contractually obligated to mention the name, have the name mentioned at least once.
I gotta say, in the first co-op tournament, my co-op partner got so mad at me for saying it at every opportunity.
So
Like,
of course
where
you
are
say
you
it
now?
more.
I'm just going through Jabu, I'm back walking through tail pass arounds. Really? Did you have to? Well, you asked!
Yeah. Yes, you did, by the way. Oh my God.
But also, yeah, the slimy things are, yeah, the things that block the doorways, and if you walk up to them and, like, talk to Navi, says, when you clear the first one, Navi's like, the slimy thing is gone.
This room just means having 4 berries in there.
I mean, at least it's a little bit different to the previous ones, but yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah, this was like the fastest possible do stuff because you haven't got to do forest. I mean, if you have to do shadow, it'd be quicker, but as far as seeds go, this is really quick.
Yeah, this is about as, like, it's actually been really generous in that as well, because not only is it a really fast seed where you get to skip a lot of locations, but it's a really fast seed where you get to where you're explicitly told it is a good idea to skip a lot of locations because of the path hints pointing away from the pointing towards the Zelda's Lullaby. There were some areas, and because it was Ruto's letter for Go mode, there are some areas that you're just never touching. Like, it's so unlikely that they're going to go to forest because it would just be such an inefficient play in so many ways. The odds of it being there was so low. Same for fire. Obviously, you're never going to ice.
Yeah, ice is impossible, GC's useless. Bottle of Well wasn't even thought about.
Like, it was an option because of Zelda's Lullaby, but that only offers a handful of checks. Like, it's a fraction of the checks in Bottom of the Well there. So again, it was kind of like Forest and Fire. It was, yeah, it's one that you're going to consider, but way less than you would normally.
Oh, drink of that, yeah, no fire. Wow. I just realised how little you actually have to do in the scene. Yeah. I think me saying sub 2 might have been accurate, actually.
It's still close. I don't know. Baronade takes a long time, even done perfectly. It's going to be borderline. It's going to be a little over, I'd imagine. Again, even a Go mode Jabu is still really slow because those tentacle fights take a pretty long time. Like, I think this probably will be, but it's close. It's very close.
What should be 2 hours exactly?
I'm ready for the 1:59:59. Okay, neither run away from the bomb strap. I'm glad. 9 times out of 10, I see people go with like the bomb strat to get through that, and get it wrong, and end up losing time to it. And both of them are emulator players.
This was a very clean marinade. Less than a minute from room entry to kill. Absolutely fantastic.
I saw a thing on Baronade recently on one of the races where they threw the boomerang, I think, too early. But instead of going back into the ground and hiding again, it still came up, still had all the barrier around it, but was blue and couldn't be stunned. And I've never seen that before.
I've seen it where Baronade can't be stunned right after knocking it into a new phase. It was super irritating.
Yeah, it was like the timing. I think what happened was they timed the boomerang throw to stun it at the exact same time that it would have come out the ground. So it recognized it as not being able to be hit, but it was flying around while stunned.
Interesting.
So they just had to wait for the stun to wear off so that they could then stun it again. The challenge doesn't have the race times this year, so I don't actually know if there's been a sub 2 yet. I would imagine there has been. I know there have been some very fast seeds, but sub 2 is close.
Yeah, oh, Riley, no.
Oh, that's...
yeah,
little too close on that one.
And since you've already hit it, there's a chance you don't get a clean callback. Also, you have to remember that Morpher is in fact intangible. And there we go, as Morpher dies, the bridge forms, and now it's a race for sub 2. What'll happen first, do you think, folks? Will it be Riley finishing Baronade, or will it be Goomba finishing the game?
Just the time getting to Jabu, I think, added in, and the tentacle fights. I'm gonna say Gabu.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Ganon. And I am now a little bit miffed at Riley because I lost channel points on this. Admittedly, it was like 2,600, but still. You know something? I think this is definitely a sub 3.
Yeah, maybe just. Be close. Maybe Goomba will die to Ganon like 36 times.
Oh god. Every seed can in fact sub 4. The thing is, it never defines the unit. Sub 4 what? Hours? Days? Millennia? Yeah, here we go, the final climb. I mean, technically a seed could sub 4 seconds. You'd have to start with Spirit and Shadow Medallion, land in Temple of Time as an adult, and you get a Triforce piece for one Triforce piece hunt. But sub 4 seconds is technically possible, I think.
Yeah, you spawn at the Lost Woods Bridge, and then you walk out onto the bridge and it's your Triforce piece.
Of course, this is kind of a double-edged sword for Goomba winning this one. as we mentioned at the very start, Goomba winning sends him in to face Marco. And I'm not gonna lie, I'd rather not face Marco.
To be fair, I'd rather not face Cola or Goomba or Riley, for that matter. But, yeah, again, no matter which way they went out of this matchup, it was always going to be a difficult match. Obviously, you're happier to be on the winner's side for it, but... I don't know, I think we're just going to have some very close races. Like, I think it would be a hard stretch to not have close races at this part of a bracket, but in particular, Goomba versus Marco, Riley versus Cola, those sound like two very, very close matches to me.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun to hear about, watch, because yeah. Well, yeah, this is probably something.
We're just playing very safe, it looks like. Just to really not run that risk of getting smacked about.
A little too safe right there in the end. Couldn't get stabbed. Oh! Something fighting talk.
Zelda doing her best Goku impression.
I'm a firing Maleta.
Like a solid 158 there. That is definitely up there as one of the best times of the tournament so far.
Anyone got GG's in the chat? Oh, hang on. Goomba finished in first place with a time of 1:57.59. So 150 to call. We are now joined by Goomba.
Welcome.
BG's.
You know, maybe I should unmute my microphone. Hello.
It helps.
It might help, yeah, honestly, yeah.
Grats, GG.
Thanks. I hope you all
Feels-
closed your eyes in Shadow Temple.
I mean, I feel like I blinked at one point and half the seed was gone.
Yeah, it does feel that way.
So the... Is Riley joining us, or is he? I know he was in chat at least, so if nothing else, we can get Riley in chat. But I know the biggest thing was basically all of the logic around the Zelda's Lullaby. That was obviously, I guess, the big divergence there.
Yeah, I mean that was
Kind of, there
the
wasn't
entire
much other
seed.
choice. Yeah. The biggest difference between the two of you was you crossed on your first visit to Fortress, and yeah, Riley didn't, basically.
Yeah.
I can see we're getting Riley in as well, so and there we go. Hello.
Hi. GG's.
Hey, GG's.
So yeah, I was just saying, obviously, pretty jet seed, kinda sub 2, pretty fast.
A little bit.
The biggest difference was obviously the logic around the Zelda's Lullaby, and in particular, so Goomba, you crossed out of logic to get it on the first visit to Fortress. Riley, you left.
Yeah.
And that obviously determined your next plays from there. A bunch of fairy fountains versus Spirit, because your items could have been there as well. You both ended up going from there to Shadow, but at that point it was basically a full Shadow Temple between you, and that was pretty much the difference that held through to the end.
Yeah. I wasn't, like, honestly, I wasn't sure about crossing when I did, because I was kind of assuming that Deku would just have Rudo's letter and hover boots, and then I can go beat Jabu, probably get Requiem, go do Shadow, all that good stuff, and not have to cross, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I banked on, basically. I was like, okay, Fortress of Path, just let me just go get the rank before I go Child, so I can do Jabu in the same Child. I can beat Deku, just out of, like, pure efficiency. But then, obviously, like, Lens was, like, worst-case scenario there, because I immediately knew, yeah, it's the cross, which was basically the nail in the coffin for me, the seed, because then when I crossed again, I also did Spirit before I did Colossus Fairy, because at that point I'm, like, missing 3 items. I'm like, okay, well, Spirit is all locked by Lens and Hover Boots, so Letter can easily just be in all of Spirit, and nah, nothing as well.
Yeah.
So there were a couple of big things there that did come up around that area. One in particular that you both did was dipping into Gerudo Training Grounds. Was there a consideration to skip that at all, or was it just you were always going to do that on the way through?
I definitely considered just skipping it. But I figure in CSMC, like, going in, doing a few checks, and looking at the maze knocks out half the dungeon in, like, 2 minutes. And that's a lot of checks. So, it feels kind of unnecessarily aggressive to just skip it entirely, I feel.
Riley, pretty much same, I guess.
For what, sorry?
Did you consider skipping Gerudo Training Grounds on the way through?
I mean, my plan was always to just do right side peek the maze. If there's a big chest in the maze, commit to it, but there's nothing in the middle maze, and I just left because I was like, okay, let's go do Donjon.
Yeah, that was pretty much also my plan.
And, yeah, the other one is the one that's been mentioned in chat, was early in the seed you were going through River and Domain, and both of you did a very similar route towards that, but then Riley, you left and went down through field to do the open grotto into valley and lake, as opposed to just going there via Domain. Was there something in particular in mind there? Was it metagame pool? Just a routing
No, I
thing?
just wasn't sure when I'd route in open grotto otherwise, so I just, like, obviously you can, like, kind of do it after Domain, but after Domain, if you're doing it Domain first, you probably want to just take the Owl and go Adult from there, and, like, you're isolating Field and Valley kind of almost there, so, like, that was mostly the reasoning, because I was super low on stuff. But, like, yeah, I consider, like, is it, like, I didn't even know which one was faster. Obviously to get into Domain, and, like, Lake is faster, but, yeah, like, it's pretty much even going all the way up River again, compared to just walking to Field from there, I think, so.
Yeah, I figured I would wait on field because I had the hook shot, I had the bow, so I could full clear Fortress, and I knew it was path, so I was going there relatively soon, so I figured I would just do field into Adult Lake, set up Scarecrow, and then go to Fortress, and I would just get those checks on the way anyway.
I only got the Domain path, like, after I did all of it, so.
I mean, I didn't get the main path until, like, an hour after I got the hook shot, so.
We actually thought the routing there in the early game might have been costly at one point when Goomba found the magic, but obviously
Yeah.
we're going for the Scarecrow because of Fortress, so...
And, I mean, I also had to, I went there, hit the grotto, only had 5 rupees, had to go bonk the fucking tree 3 times, that felt bad.
Yeah,
Oof.
yeah.
Rupees were not really my friend this seed. I was low all the time. Which didn't feel good, but yeah. Otherwise, even then, like, I'm not really satisfied with how I played generally. Obviously, I lost, but even then, I made a lot of silly mistakes, I feel like they were too simple. Like, I 3-cycled Morpho, which is, ugh.
I was definitely kind of internally panicking a little bit after the long shot.
Did you get long shot on your first trip over? I guess you did.
Yeah, like, I crossed and got the long shot, and at that point I was hovers and Rudos for go mode, and, like, with the hints, they could have just both been in Decatry. So I just kind of like skipped literally everything in most Deku Tree. And then I got the lens, and I was like, oh, fuck me.
I mean, did you even do chess game, like, or did you just assume immediately it was the
both.
cross against ZL? I mean, I guess when you get long shot,
you chess game out of it for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I
think
like
you have
after
to at that
Deku.
point, right?
After Deku, I literally just hiked straight to chest game, and then I was like, okay, so Naruto's is behind Wasteland Crossing in some way, so it's in some random ZL check somewhere, or it's in Spirit.
It's actually worth noting the fact that you had to cross again to get Zelda's Lullaby there meant that you didn't do Castle Fairy, which meant you didn't do OGC Fairy either, because that was where Strength 3 was.
Okay.
Yeah.
It definitely ended up being a little bit casino towards the end, and there was definitely a point of, well, it's just who stumbles into the item first, but obviously the second you get Nocturne into Shadow, and then you're like, okay, go beat Water, and everything just kind of wrote itself from that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the point where I was in water, like, it feels really weird to full clear Water Temple out of logic, but like at that point the only spots I had left where Rudos could be were Water, the ZL checks in the Well, and Spirit, so...
There was one outside thing that did come up a few times. It could have been in Fire or Forest.
Well, yeah, I did consider that it could have been that the hover boots were path to Baronade and the lens was path to Bongo. I thought about it, but I figured that was unlikely.
They both fulfilled crossing, no matter what. So
they were both path to Bongo, but the other one had to be path.
But they were also both path to.
Well, the point was that it could have been, if your hovers were path to Baronade, the letter could have just been in, like, Deep Fire. And it's not locked by...
Well, then the lens had to be...
And then the lens would be path to Bongo.
Yeah, but then the hovers are path to Baronade, so the hovers would have to lock the letter in some fashion, which is...
Right, so if it was Deep Fire behind Volve...
Oh, I guess, yeah, but that's super rare.
Like, I thought about that as an option, but I wasn't gonna... Like, it seemed way less likely, so I wasn't gonna think about it until it was out of ZL stuff.
Yeah, and exactly, that's, I think, the thing that we kind of concluded, I want to ask, but I guess both of you came to the same conclusion, is, yeah, it could be that, but the odds of that happening are so low that things like Water or even the ZL checks in Bottom of the Well are just way more likely. There's more checks, there's higher odds.
After Water, if it wasn't in Water, I was gonna like go to Bottom of the Well real quick, just do the ZL checks, and then go to Spirit.
Yeah. So see, like, I mean, like, I never, like, doing Spirit didn't feel super good, but, like, when I crossed, like, I obviously, like, I just crossed and I went right back in Spirit instead of going to the Fairy, because at that point I'm like, do I play Prelude and go Graveyard to potentially not even maybe get Nocturne and, like, maybe not even get, like, Requiem? I mean, I guess it had to be one of those two, right? So maybe I should have gone there because of that, but...
Yeah.
Because I completely forgot, sorry, this was on Burning Cack, so that made, like, I think maybe if I thought about that more, I could have seen myself cross, because it was only one song behind Deku that was relevant. Because even if I get Letter, doing Jabu for Burning Cack song doesn't mean too much, but, yeah. Like I said,
if you get Nocturne in the Graveyard, that's it, you've just locked yourself out of Spirit unless you cross again, so...
Yeah, exactly, which feels even more terrible, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about that, Colo, with just saving in Spirit, going to check the song, and if it's not anything I care for, just go back to Spirit, but it's such a time commitment to just do all of that, though, so I think you just have to commit to either. Which, I think, like I said, staying in Spirit was not, like, it felt not great, but it didn't feel not bad, and then, obviously, it had nothing, so...
Yeah. Honestly, like, I think what I should have done is I should have at least done the first two checks in Spirit before leaving, so if I have to think about recrossing for Spirit again later, I'll know if it's just hard Requiem locked or not.
Yeah.
I should have thought about that, but I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I got ZL, I went right back in, and then if I was key locked, I was going to do the Fairy and leave, but I just did all of Spirit before doing Colossus Fairy. Which makes sense in that situation, I think. Like, hiking to Fairy kind of stinks, and then walking back to Spirit just feels slow.
Yeah, like
obviously I got
you
the
could
launch at-
save in Spirit and then like go to the ferry and reset back to Spirit, I guess. But
Yeah, but there, like I said, there's also the fact that like obviously like getting that long shot, like if you cross right away for like when you get the boomerang, you're gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna go Deku, I'm gonna get everything there, and then come back. Like, but yeah, so me not crossing right away probably cost me like most of my time this race, I want to say. But
It was definitely the biggest thing. Obviously, there was still a chance to pull it back with the decisions of where you go to look for letter. But
yeah, letter just being in water was the nail in the coffin for sure.
yeah, you did Spirit as opposed to some fairy fountains, and then you both ended up in Shadow. And yeah, like at the point where Goomba was getting off the boat, you were basically just going towards him and start. It was pretty much the whole punching apart at that point.
Yeah.
And both of you just went straight from Shadow to water to gravity through from there.
Yeah. I mean, in theory, Spirit was probably the most likely place for Letter to be, but in practice, obviously, it's never like that. So
yeah,
like, yeah, obviously, hypothetically, if I nabbed Letter out of Spirit, I'd probably just leave. So
yeah. I mean, if Letter had been in Spirit, obviously you win, but
yeah, exactly.
such is Rando.
Yep.
So, last point, I guess, that I want to bring up at least is your next matches. Marco for you, Goomba, and Cola for you, Riley.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not gonna be easy. I'll say that.
I mean, same for me. Colo's the terrifying 1v1 opponent specifically. I mean, I had my fair share against him in SGL last year, but I do want my revenge on him. So there's that. I have that going for me. So
Yeah,
Not
I
like
just
there are
hope
going
I
to be
play
easy matches at this point, anyways.
I just hope I play a little cleaner because I'm gonna need it against Marco. My execution today was not good.
yeah, I mean, I have a worse 1v. I have a worse record against you than I have against Marco. So
I don't think I've ever played a 1v1 against Marco.
no, I don't think specifically, but just in general, I think I just tend to perform better when I'm against Marco than you, which is. But
yeah,
I gotta. Yeah.
So, Goomba chat wanted to say they were sad when you got door stomped into the Dampe race.
I was also quite sad. Yes, thank you.
But let's wrap things up. So this is the last Zelda Ocarina of Time randomizer race today. But later tonight, we will have a Zelda 2 randomizer. If you want Ocarina of Time, tomorrow we have Sponge versus Cariosa at 12:20 Eastern, followed by Lockout Bingo tomorrow night of Exodus versus Genslag. So that's what's coming up here on Zelda Speedruns. We are going to raid Vidya, so everyone have a great day. If you want to stick around and see Vidya, be Vidya. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day otherwise.
Yep. GG's. Thanks for the race stream.
Everyone go sign up for League.
I hope.